Hi, this is Don. I've come to the last part of the calendar studies series 2. In this installment, I'm going to be talking about my own calendar, the 1440 Days calendar. Since I'm the author, I don't really have any notes here or any prepared material that I'm going to share. I'm just going to give some general information. If you check on Wiki Calendar, I'm on there, the real time calendar. When I posted that, I was kind of in the process of understanding the calendar a little better, so my ideas may have changed a bit since then, so I probably should go in there and update that. But I don't think too many people have taken an interest in my own calendar, so it probably doesn't matter that much. It's probably better just to try to explain it a little bit here in this video than to expect people to run to Wiki Calendar and check it out. I don't think there's too much traffic going on there. So, anyways, basically, my calendar had 1440 days. The regular calendar has, in a 4 year period, same 4 year period has 1461. So, what happened to the other 21 days? Well, the whole concept here is that time is three dimensional. If you're just talking about days, that's one value. But if you include hours, you can have a different hourly total for a day. So in my calendar, it extends beyond the 24-hour day by 21 minutes for 1461 minutes per day. But that's a little confusing because the 24-hour day is so ingrained in our minds that anything that goes, it's sacrosanct. Anything that goes against it is going to be objected to. So what I do is I just add more seconds to a minute, and you come out with a 24-hour day. Uh, Even though there's more minutes in a day, you can still have 1440 minutes if you add more seconds to a minute. So actually, in a minute has 60 and 5/8 of a second instead of just 60 seconds. So how are you going to keep track of this stuff on a watch or a clock or something? Well, you're not. It's just a different way of looking at things, and the purpose or the motive for doing this is just to make things easier to keep track of time itself. It's not for the purpose of business or anything really. It's just for the purpose of keeping track of time. So you could say, well, why not just do it some other way if that's all you're trying to accomplish? Well, there's a certain art. When I started out, or when you start out any uh, enterprise, you're not really sure of everything at the start. You kind of discover things as you go along. So I started this calendar. I was reading the book of Genesis, and I was wondering. I was pretty sure that Moses was talking about a 360 days year. So I was kind of puzzled. I was wondering, is that possible? How could you have a 360 day year? How would that make sense? Um, Considering that the Earth orbits around the sun in 365 and a quarter, are actually 365.2422 is the modern equivalent. So I just wanted to set up my own 360 days calendar and check it out to see what was necessary to make it equal to our current calendar of 1461 days. So what I came up with is you just add more minutes per day. 1461 times 360 is equal to 365 and a quarter times 20. Well, you see what I'm saying? A 24-hour day has got 1,440 minutes, whereas my calendar has 1461 minutes, which is 24.35 hours. So that's the mathematics behind it. So when you, as I set up my calendar for 4 years from 2012 through 2015, I discovered that I didn't actually need 1,440 days for a cycle. All I needed were 480 days. So if you take 3 cycles of 480, that's 1,440. But you actually only need one calendar of 480 days, and then it resets and starts over again after that amount of time. So then I set up 40 days as a month, because that allows each month to start on an hour, like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. During the course, every hour is covered within the course of so many months. So it's just a good way of keeping track of things if you're trying to figure out where you're at in the progression of the months. So here, if you were keeping track of your birthday or something, in a 480, there are 12 months of 40 days. So unless you come up with some new names for the months, your birthday might happen twice in that cycle, or there's still only 360 days in a year, but 480 times 24.35 hours a day is equal to 487. That's another thing that makes it simpler to figure out where you're at compared to the current calendar. So there's all these little tricks mathematically that help out the understanding, but it's still confusing. Like the thing I was trying to think of in my previous videos was I went on the internet and found the new calendar page where they actually have the time up in the top part of the screen, whatever, and it showed it was yesterday, August 23rd, but on their calendar it's August 26th. So that's part of the confusion of creating a new calendar. Well, my calendar is the same way. The days don't match up. So I had to come up with a system where I call them Luna and Sol days. The calendar jumps ahead 24 hours, and on the one Sol day a year, time just stops. So it catches up with the regular calendar that we use. So that overcame that. My calendar was never more than 24, it was always less than 24 hours difference than the calendar we're currently using. So that helped out too. But that is pretty complex too. It can get pretty confusing when you're trying to explain that. So the last couple days I was just trying to figure out minutes here. So although on my calendar 1 minute is equal to 60, this is the three-dimensional part. You have to, in order to have 1440 minutes per day, you've got to make longer minutes, as well as longer hours in a day. So a minute equals 60.875 seconds. Well, I got this written down. You can sort of see what I'm doing here. And so 1 hour is equal to that magic number 3625.5 seconds, which is equal to 60 minutes. And 8 hours is equal to 29220, which is equal to 480 minutes. And 24 hours is equal to 87660 seconds, which is equal to 1440 minutes. So that's how I kind of did away with the confusion of having extra minutes in a day. I just made the minutes longer. So that's something I just kind of started working on. There's probably a better system for keeping time, but I'm not really, I haven't really spent the time to figure it out yet. So that would be another aspect of my calendar. So let me think here. What else can I say about my calendar? It's